teachers, students and families, and welcome to this week's Prep to 3 online assembly. We are at the halfway point of this term, and we should all be so proud of ourselves for all the work we have done in these challenging circumstances. My name is Esther from 6H, and I am a house captain for Flynn.
My name is Lachlan from 6W, and I am a house captain for Flynn.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we stand today and recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. This statement that is read out each week at Assembly is called the Acknowledgement of Country. This is our way to show respect for the traditional owners of the land on which we stand today. The lands around Casey were the home of the Boonwurrung people, also as the Wurundjeri people. You may be familiar with a building that was open in Casey in 2017 called Bunjil Place. It's a big building next to the Casey Arctic swimming pools. Bunjil is the name given to the eagle who, as legend has it, was the creator of the mountains, river, flora, fauna and laws for humans to live by. The building's roof looks like the soaring eagle's wings. Here is a short video of Bunjil.
To the Boonwurrung people, Bunjil is the creator spirit. He made the heavens and the earth. He went to the sky on a great wind, which Bellin the crow let out of his skin bags. From his position in the stars, Bunjil took his largest knife and slashed at the land and formed ridges that became mountains. The land between became the valleys. He let the rain fall to the land and formed rivers to give the people water. He made a man out of clay, used stringy bark as hair and blew his breath into its mouth. The clay man came to life and Bunjil danced around him. Bunjil's son, Binbil, made women out of water and went on to become the rainbow. Bunjil takes many forms today. He is a sea eagle, a bird, and basalt, the rock. He is a star in the sky, and his spirit rests at Cape Schanck on the Mornington Peninsula.
Firstly, we would like to present this week's winners for the Student of the Week for Term 3, Week 5. From Prep C, Ryder for completing wonderful problem solving. From Prep M, Oliver for his excellent published report writing piece. From Prep N, Emmanuel for his excellent efforts to improve his reading and writing. From Prep O, Ruben for amazing remote learning videos. From Prep P, Arav for a fantastic job with remote learning. I love watching all your videos and listening to you read. Well done. From Prep R, Fabian for making such sensational videos of you counting. Well done. From 1B, Gurilam for always taking pride in her work and trying her very best when completing each task. From 1C, Samath for completing every task in remote learning and doing a fantastic job. From 1H, Ivani for an outstanding improvement in literacy. Your reading fluency is amazing and your writing is excellent. Well done, Ivani. From 1K, Lena for her organization and independence demonstrated this week.
Okay, from 2A, Tanish for all his effort in producing his best in every activity. Well done, Tanish. From 2D, Dylan for his tremendous hard work during remote learning. From 2P, Sarah, every day Sarah completes all her tasks extremely well. She takes a pride in what she submits and she is reading books, session classes and recording her reading sessions classics. Savani for putting time and effort into her work and always presenting beautifully. From 3B, and Wita for her enthusiasm and hard work in our Maths Google Meets. From 3L, Tina for writing detailed steps in the method of her procedural text. From 3M, Lumen for being excited to learn new things and working out so hard on Tuesday's Turo challenges. From 3O, Rana for fantastic effort with all of her remote work. Keep it up, you rock. From 3R, Gurdner for outstanding productions of the week.
We will now present the Specialist Awards for Week 5. From EAL, Anne-Marie from 2M for consistently completing the comprehension work using full sentences. From Indonesian, Banan from 1C for completing fantastic work in Indonesian this week. A fantastic book using Indonesian words for parts of the face. From Funtasen Pinel, Kian in 1C for doing fantastic job completing Funtasen Pinel tasks every day. Keep up the good work. And finally, Chloe for all her fantastic work during remote learning for Mrs. Dawson.
As you know, we are the Flynn captains, and we would like to show you a short clip about a person our house was named after, John Flynn, an Australian who followed his dreams and created the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which helps a fly doctor around to help people who lived in faraway places with no hospitals nearby. Here is a short clip about John Flynn.
The $20 bill may be small and easily spent, but it has some big stories about the growth of Australia in the 20th century. The symbols on the $20 note represent many of the achievements and innovations of the Royal Flying Doctor Service, an organisation that has changed the lives of people living in outback Australia. The face featured on the note is John Flynn, a minister and school teacher who spent his early years travelling around outback Australia helping people in remote communities. While working as a minister, he saw how difficult life was for people who lived and worked in the outback, as most of the Australian population live around the red dots on this map. He called the people who lived in the other parts of Australia the inlanders, and founded the Australian Inland Mission to help support them. Inlanders were far away from shops, schools, libraries, railways, doctors, hospitals, and other people. Often, John Flynn was the only non-family member that they would see for months at a time. He began to dream of ways that he could make life better for them. Flynn made his visits on a camel, but they were very slow and often uncomfortable to ride. Despite this, he gained the nickname the Camel Man. One day, Flynn heard the story of a man called Jimmy Darcy, who was a stockman from Western Australia. After suffering from a fall from his horse, Darcy was badly injured. With no doctors at hand, his friends drove him 12 hours to the local postmaster, who had some first aid training, while a doctor in Perth gave him instructions via telegraph. The operation was a success. Started Flynn thinking about ways that doctors could be brought to their patients from anywhere in Australia. He was dreaming of planes. In 1916, Hugh Victor Mackay, a businessman and childhood friend of Flynn, left a large sum of money for Flynn's aerial experiment. The first airplane hired by Flynn and featured on the note was named the Victory, after Hugh Victor Mackay. It flew the first doctor from Cloncurry, Queensland, on the 17th of May 1928. Once Flynn had started building his fleet of planes, he began thinking of ways that he could improve communication in the outback so the patients could easily call for a doctor. He found the ideal solution when a young man named Alfred Traeger developed the pedal radio in 1929. The caller would move the pedals like a bicycle to generate enough power to make the call. While they were now able to call the doctor without a face-to-face consultation, Some patients had trouble describing the location of their pain over the radio. In 1951, a nurse named Lucy Garlick created the body chart to overcome this issue. Each station was sent a chart with the body divided into sections with a number or a letter. When asked, "Where does it hurt?" they were able to respond with a number or a letter. John Flynn and his work were first featured on the $20 note in 1994 and remain an important part of Australia's geographic history today. Hopefully you'll never look at a $20 bill quite the same way again.
Assemblies, we love to share work that students have done. We would now like to share some fantastic work from these three talented students. Bilal in grade 6, Ravira in grade 5, and Amaya in grade 4. Hopefully next week we can share some writing from the junior school, but for now here's Bilal to explain the task.
Hi guys, Bilal here. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to read a story that I wrote for the Storyathon competition. The only rule is that the story has to consist of 100 words. Hope you all like it. So here it is. What an experience. Jeff's back and neck ached from sitting by one position through the entire flight. To keep himself busy, he thought of his former vacation in Australia. His favorite part was when he visited Bondi Beach. As Jeff walked towards the shore, he saw numerous people lounging around or cooking on the barbie. He could see the Australian foods, waffles, lamingtons, Vegemite, and a delicious cake called pavlova. He heard a lot about Australia's history and culture. What surprised Jeff was Australians' love for adventurous hobbies. Camping, hiking, horse riding, mountaineering were just some examples. This holiday was truly a memory. That was it. Before I cut the tape, I'd like to say thank you to Miss Sheetha and Mr. Willis for letting me share my story. Stay safe. Enjoy.
The legendary gemstone. As I took a step closer to the edge of the mining field, a rock collapsed down to the mine far below. Worried, I asked Bonzo if we're going down there. Bonzo replied, yeah. Eventually, we reached the bottom of the mine. I took my pick out and sung True Blue as I swung it. After a few hours, Bonzo and I obtained nothing. Angrily, I ripped off my Akubra hat. I began walking away when I caught sight of the sparkling object. I cracked the rock and was astonished at what I saw. It was the legendary Australian opal.
Dirt-sprinkled mud cakes. I examined strange beings taking a stroll past my net. The minuscule one stops and lays its eyes upon me. It comes closer and says, Mummy, let's read a Lamington. I ponder about this Lamington thing, but I do not have to any longer because a rangy one fishes something out from a handbag. Learned that word from one of my mates that looked kindred to the dirt-sprinkled mud cakes that I used to fling on my siblings. One of them reaches their tiny hand into my face. I refuse. No feeding the kangaroos, the zookeeper yells deafeningly.
Hello, my creative minds, and this week we've got a grade 4 assembly art slideshow. So the grade 4s have been really busy working on organic shapes. Now, our inspiration this week has come from a Belgian collective of artists who call themselves Hello Monsters. Now, these three artists blend their styles to create an imaginary universe occupied by hybrid characters such as monsters with multiple eyes and mutated animals and humans with their heads split open. And these Hello Monsters have inspired our grade 4s with their works. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed today's assembly and hope you all continue to listen to your teachers and your parents, who I'm sure are helping you at home with your schoolwork. Please join the Melbourne Captains next week for another online assembly.
Bye.